Audicratic audio.
On that note, tell me about Statik, how you met him. It seems like he was instrumental, really, in
Very.
when you were down there and really kind of set you
Yo,
on your
yeah.
path. So, how did you meet him? And still, yeah, how did you meet him, and how'd that start?
So I moved down there and I had DM'd him because on Twitter, just straight up Twitter, because I had worked with an artist that he had worked with when he was in high school, local guy back home. And I was like, hey, I just worked with Bug Out. Shout out Bug Out. Love Bug Out. That's my guy.
Wait, is Statik? Where's Statik from again?
Static
Originally,
is from Methuen. He grew up in Methuen, and then middle school and high school, or a little bit of both, just like a little bit. He was in New Hampshire, and then he was in like right as soon as he moved out of the house, he was in Boston. You know what I mean? So he was a little bit all over the place, but he was in New England, Boston, New Hampshire, a little bit of both. So like me and him had shared some of the same friends where like I was in New Hampshire doing the local scene, and the guys that he did that with were still in the local scene. And I was doing stuff with them. And so he was like, all right, cool. So I'll pay attention to this kid. I'm sure whatever went through his brain, I don't exactly know, but you know, what he saw someone that was hungry. He saw someone that came to New York, asked for advice, and then took the advice. And that's what it was he said, I asked him for advice and I wanted this grandiose plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, you made it. You know what I mean? I wanted like everything to be dialed down. And he was like, go to hip hop shows. People need beats. Go to as many hip hop shows as you can. And I was like, are you serious? That's what you're going to give me right now? And then I started doing it and I was like, oh, I kind of see what he's saying now. Like, this is where everyone lives. But then I would like message him every day. Hey, I'm going here. Hey, I'm going there. Hey, I'm going here. I'm going there. Because I wanted him to know I'm taking his advice. And I wanted him to know I'm really doing this. And I'm taking it seriously. And then after that, he started like putting me on lists here and there. And then like one day, he put me on a list and we hung out. And then I was like, oh man, then he ditched me.
I mean, is it safe to say that was probably a test on his parts to make sure that you would go to shows?
Exactly. I think it was a whole test. I don't know. He could say the same thing, but he might say something different. I don't know. But that's what it felt like. It felt like a test. Is this kid going to take me seriously? You know what I mean? And then I did, and he saw me hustling CDs outside of shows and like waiting in line and all this kind of stuff. And then, you know, that led to going to his studio one day with the artist that I was friends with that had a session with him. And that led to this, that led to that led to me just hitting him up. Hey, can I now just hang out in the studio with you? And him letting me hang out in the studio with him. And then it led to me cleaning up his studio. And that was life-changing. I'm not going to lie.
I cleaned up when I was interning at the studio. I was cleaning up constantly too. I guess that's part of the gig.
Cleaning up his studio changed my life. One day, I'm OCD. I couldn't take it anymore. His studio was a mess. He's got people there all the time. It was at this point, blah, whatever. And I cleaned his studio, found an iPad he forgot he had, found this, found that. And what I did was I added value to his life. It's exactly what I did. I added value to his life. I said, hey, I'm sober. I don't mind cleaning up after people. And I'm around and I drive. And those things are huge. Though having a sober driver in the city is amazing. Having someone that is humble and will clean up after is amazing. All these different things, what I did is what I guess he needed at the time. I don't know, but we started just chilling and vibing. And I was like, the first year I was pretty quiet. That's all I was really doing. I was just a fly on the wall, just soaking up game and saying, yeah, my name's, at that point I was DJ Nefarious. At that point I was DJ Nefarious and I wasn't even Nef yet. And I was just soaking up game and introducing myself. That's it. With him, he's always had somebody kind of like that. And I learned what they did and what they didn't do. And I was like, let me be better than everybody else. That was my biggest thing. I was like, all right, he had this person, I'm not going to say his name, before me. He had this person before him. And I was like, let me just handle everything as much as possible. You know what I mean? Make his life easier.
And it seemed to pay off, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
he kicked
amazing to have a mentor like
he
that,
kicked
you
me
know, for how
game.
legendary he is. Yeah.
He made me better at beats. He made my bass lines are fucking sick now because he complained about them. You know what I mean? Saying they were off tuned. I didn't know how to tune the bass to the sample. That would be off, and you know what I mean, like things like that. And he showed me the ropes. And then Term came in there and he showed me the ropes too. You know what I mean? They both did.
I was gonna lead into that too. Before we do that, fun fact, I did a beat battle a while back in the city, for a company called
I love
iStandard.
our standard.
My
Yep.
first yeah, my first guest, Rhythm J, I went to college with him, and he started with them, like, in 2008 when he was down in the
Yeah,
city.
yeah. I've seen him
Yep.
involved with them.
Yeah, he's a man, and Static judged the one that I was at, and he was really cool, man. He had some dope words. I didn't end up winning or placing, but that was the first time
I'd be
I
really
think the only time I
curious
actually
as
met
to
him in
like what he
person,
would
but
say because I feel like he would actually say some real stuff instead of like the basic.
luckily, I mean, none of the judges, I don't remember them really saying anything bad per
Mhm.
se. They weren't necessarily praising either, though. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a middle ground, but like there was
I always
very
just want the
minimal, like,
truth.
I don't remember really it being, because I remember being on stage kind of like, oh my gosh, like they like the beats, like at least enough to not shit on them.
Mhm.
Because some people were just getting shit on. Like
Oh, at that
all
session,
the
there was other people
judges,
actually getting bad.
yeah, I mean, there was 3 judges. I think it was Static and 2 other industry judges of some sort. I forget at the time. Static was just a big name to me. Like, I gotta go down to this because Static's,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
he's the
Yeah,
judge.
yeah, definitely,
But
especially
but,
with our standard.
and I was, like, probably midway out of all of them, all the people that were, in the showcase, and I was, like, watching, like, damn, these dudes are getting, like, torn apart. Some of them, like,
Woo!
for how bad the
Yeah,
beats sound, and some people were really dope too. But I was like, "Oh, man, they're probably gonna," who knows what they're gonna say, but I got up and
right.
yeah, I mean, there was really good, they said a lot of good stuff, and they probably said a couple things like, "Oh, yeah, like your drums, this and that," but it was very, for my first time doing something like that,
Oh,
it
that's
was
dope.
pretty safe, it was
Yeah, yeah,
pretty
yeah,
welcoming,
definitely.
which I thought was cool. But I think I saw him outside, and I think I was like, "Yo, man, like, big fan, blah, blah." He was cool, but that was one time I met him, but fun fact.
Mm. I
That
did
was
2 I
2008, I
standard
think, a long
events.
time ago. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a couple, but yeah, they're great, man. Like, that was great. Those guys that ran it, really great. Jay Hatch,
Jay Hatch,
RIP.
yeah, oh my
Um,
god, I can't
what
believe that. That's
Yeah, what a great
crazy.
guy.
He was such a
I
big
know.
part of that, and he struggled for a long time with his cancer.
Yeah, no, and he beat it at one point,
Yeah.
like, or, he was in almost, I think, almost complete remission. They
No, he
obviously
was, yeah,
came
I thought
back
he
and
was.
took him. I was lucky enough too. I went down and went to a couple studio events that he did, because it went from iStandard to like these, I think it's called like creative space events he was doing. So he didn't do it at bars anymore. He just had them in studios, and he had a lot of them at IMI Studios. And I went down there for one. I think I went down there for another thing with a licensing company that I'm a part of with Rhythm J, and he was also a
Really?
co-founder.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the man, dude. He was such a good public speaker, really motivating. He knew everybody, like he just knew everybody in the
I think
industry. So it
Rhythm
was
J
cool to be
was
able to.
part of, the second one that I did.
Oh, he might have been, yeah, because he was there early on. I mean, I think 2008, all the way, not all the way through, I
Yeah,
think, but
yeah.
for many, many years. He probably was,
I did
yeah.
one
He
at the
was there for
Pyramid
many of
Club,
them.
and it's funny, I had Static come with me as one of the homies.
Wait,
I
say
had,
that
like,
again?
the second one that I did, I had Static come with me as just, like, one of the
Oh, that's
homies to
dope.
support, you know what I mean?
Do you remember when that was? Like what year that was?
It's, like, 5 years ago, at least.
Oh, so not that long
Not that
ago.
long ago, not that long ago, because the thing was I did an I standard early on when I lived in New Hampshire, and I was like it was weird. I was, like, trying to learn how to make trap beats and to, like, make trap/boom slash boom bap, and, like, I was trying to, like, open my horizon, just really learn more stuff, so if it came in, I would know how to do it. Yeah, and I was just, like, trying these new things, and I did the I standard to see if I was doing a good job at it, and they had, like, some very just whatever, non-biased. I honestly love I standard, but, like, that first one that I did, everyone was like, "Yeah, it's cool, but yeah, it's cool, but," like, it wasn't like I couldn't do
You wanted
anything.
people to go
Yeah, I
in.
want people to
You wanted
go in
people to
on
be
me, and it was like Scram
right.
Jones and a couple other people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 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 and they were like Scram Jones was like, "Yo, just don't put too much 808." And then someone was like, "Oh, yeah, just this, just that." And I was like, "I didn't really learn much from it." But then later on, I did one where I was like, "All right, I'm past this, but I wanna do it just to fucking do it." You know what I mean? And I got
I
in.
did that a couple times myself.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Let me just see what's up." And I didn't win. I got 2nd place because this other kid got 1st place, and this other kid, it was hilarious. he was wearing like overalls and like had this whole like shtick to him. And they told me and everybody he got first place because he's got a whole look.
I remember on those old shows too, like you were on stage and like you could move around. So
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
don't know if
yeah.
that like I didn't do that. I just stood there like this. Like you know what I
Yeah, I
mean? Like
was
I
just
didn't
up
dress
there.
crazy. Like
There was a really
yeah.
old school producer there. I mean, not producer, engineer. There was like this old white guy, older white guy that just looked like he doesn't do any hip hop. And I was like, oh, he knows how to engineer. Yes. Okay, cool. And I was like, and we came to him, and I even said right when before he spoke, I was like, I'm looking for what you say. I was like, because you've torn everybody apart. I want to see what you say. And he was like, yo, you killed it. And then he even said something like, oh, it's this and that. And then after the I standard, I told him how I learned by interning and getting yelled at and like all this stuff and whatever. And he was like, that's the fucking best way to do it. He's like, that's the best way. Just throw yourself in there, get yelled at, do the intern stuff, be someone's whatever, and all this. And I was like, yes, all right, I'm doing the right thing. And that's what I got from the I standard that time.
One more static thing too. It's actually just coming to me now. I did a track lib contest a couple years ago, and this was, I think, like the second. It might have been the first or
Was it
second
in
one
New
they did the
York?
static. No, no, it was all online. It was just like a
Oh,
track
okay. Because I
lib
was gonna say
sample,
we did
like
a track.
sample
I
chop.
remember we did a track lib thing together.
He was the judge. He was like the judge. So there's like the one guy that hosts. His name is he used to go by, I think, Beats by Danny.
Huh?
Really good guy. I met him down in New York once too. Really good guy. And Static was a judge. I'm like, oh, this is funny. This is coming full circle from
Yeah,
2008
yeah,
to
yeah,
like
yeah.
2023. It's like 15 years later. So the beat that I have that I use for that is the beat that I use for the podcast, and it ended
No
up being
way.
that one. Yeah, just and it was like everybody had the same sample from Tracklib, really dope sample,
Okay,
and
so
it's
everybody had to
very
just flip the same sample
yeah.
type thing. Okay.
And you had to submit through like a Discord, and then the next 10 went on, and like I got to the next 10, and it's the beat is very boom bap choppy. What I would think is right up Static's alley. It's kind of primo-ish, like it
Yeah.
has that just old school '90s boom bap because it's like a chop challenge. So I'm like, I want to kind of make it sound
Right, right.
choppy,
You
like
want
it
to
was
make it
made in
sound like
MPC
a
kind of
chop
thing.
challenge. Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Right. So, they're playing all the beats, and I could tell he was like really liking him. He's like, oh yeah, this is dope, like really classic
Uh-huh.
sounding. And then they went to the next one, and then they're doing the finals. And then number 3, I think they might even like 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, and then he's like, all right, the next, he's like, all right, so because he's the only one that's
That's
judging. Like it's
crazy. The
just one
only one
judge.
they normally have
And it's
multiple.
and he's like, all right, the next, it's in between, Ab the Autocrat and then this guy. And he was kind of like, it's kind of like a toss up. And I'm sitting there like,
Oh no.
and
Yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah.
and then I came in second, and then like the other guy, and I'm like,
That's kind of
no.
what happened to
I was
me.
like,
That's kind of
God.
what happened to me. They were like,
Yeah, I was
yo,
like, God damn it.
like even the engineer and everybody was like, yo, your shit is ill. Like I can tell you don't have the quantize on, like you're doing real boom bap. But they were just like, this kid's got more of a looks than you.
I think with this one, the dude that won, his beat was a little more like it was like more drawn out. There was a little bit more of like a build up
Hmm.
and kind of like, I wouldn't say like an orchestral kind of feel, but it was much grander, I guess, when mine was just a little like way
More
more just
regular
in your
old
face,
school.
punchy. Yeah, yeah. So and again, like it is what it is. It's really cool, but I was like this close. I'm like, 15 years later, I almost got the W all the way back
Yes.
from like the first beat battle I did.
Yeah,
And like
but
I was
second place is ill
no, it
though.
was good.
Second place is
It was
ill,
good. It
bro.
was
I don't
fun.
even care.
No, it was cool. No, no, no. It was great. And it was awesome having him be the judge, just checking it out and getting props from mad years
Hmm.
later. And it's, just a quick story, just speaking on
I love
Static,
that.
because that didn't actually come to me until I'm like, actually, well, he was a judge in this
That's
other one
right.
too.